It's a gorgeous night in Atlanta. The last couple weeks have been absurdly hot down here, but this is the perfect type of night for a match here at the Woodruff Physical Education Center. Mid to low 70s, pretty clear, and I don't envision any weather-related problems coming in for the game today. So looking at Covenant College a little more closely, the Scots, as mentioned, have won their last two straight, bringing them to a 10-1-1 record. A couple of common opponents. The Eagles don't play them this year, but historically it's about an every year type of match against Berry College, and Covenant's gone 1-1 with them. Yes, that's correct. Won and loss against Berry. Eagles not going to play Berry this year, but another opponent where they do have some similarities is Swanee, and that's the one tie that Covenant has under their belt this year. The Eagles were 2-1 winners at Swanee earlier this year on goals by Owen Howlauer and Will Jones. Give you a little bit of perspective on how these teams might stack up. Emory in the past has not had a lot of trouble with Covenant. Overall, Emory holding the 10-2-7 record, so a lot of ties and also a solid amount of wins. So the last meeting, it was in 2016. Emory were 4-0 winners over Covenant. That was up at Lookout Mountain, Georgia. And a couple of players that I'm interested in watching and will certainly put a strong test for the Eagles will be starting in the back. It's Paul LeMay, who is a two-time USA South Defensive Player of the Week this year already. Senior has a lot of experience and is a leading figure in the defensive stat side inside the conference. A couple other players to keep your eye on the offensive half of the ball will be Mercer Stout and Josh Brower. Mercer leads the conference in goals with 12, tied for the lead. 2 assists on the year. Josh Brower looks to be more of the assist man for the Scots. He's got 8 assists on the year and 2 goals. Both of them are leaders in the categories in the USA South. Brower on the assist side. Another player who is of note for Covenant will be Noah Lee, who's earned USA South Defensive Player of the Week honors this year. But so far, the Eagles pushing the buttons early on. It was a cross by Nate Sampson over on the right side, deflected to safety for a moment. Now it'll be Patrick McCann on the throw, going from right to left. Eagles deep in Covenant's defensive half. He's going to fling it across and almost looked like Kondua read it and kind of backed off to see if he could settle it down with his chest, but it'll pop out. Now the Eagles having to play a little defense. Good pressure by Patrick McCann over on the right side, who looks to be more like a wing back for the Eagles tonight, as he'll get onto it now again for the throw. So things start to flesh out a little bit more. It looks like Emory's got 3 deep across the back, with Cole Hendricks over on the left side, the mulleted maestro. Now it's Sampson digging in deep, and Kondua just didn't time his run that well. But so far, it's been Nate Sampson pushing up the right side and getting some early action into the box. Nothing fruitful just yet, but so far so good as the Eagles begin to put pressure. and it'll go out for a throw. So Covenant not dealing with Emory's advanced pressure early in this match. Saru on it, lays it back to McCann, and tried to connect with Sampson, but it was a little tight, and the pass had to be perfect. It wasn't. It'll be Covenant ball coming out. McCann with a good job shielding, but can't hold on to it. So actually it looks like what we've got, Cole, the mulleted Maestro Hendricks over on the left side with Tishy and Melman in the middle of the park. Nice little play by Trey Riley. Little reverse roll. Saru with a good ball in, and it's Kandua again on the backside run, but over, I guess, under-reading it as it goes over his head again. If he can figure out his runs just a little bit better, time those a little bit better, so he can make a play on that ball, then the Eagles may have something going. It'll be Tishy finding Jones. Excellent ball. Almost got there by Jones, but it was a strong idea to keep targeting Sampson, who's had a lot of luck so far and been able to get behind that back line. Saru stepping in and winning it, and he's in a good position. Out to Sampson. Not a bad idea with how he's looked so far. Sampson going to work. Nice ball across the middle. Kandua digs in with a much better timed run. Gets his head on it, and it just checks wide of the goal. But so far, good stuff for the Eagles, showing good promise in the attacking half of the field. And again, it was a cross by Nate Sampson, causing problems for the Scots, who've struggled to get on the ball here, and it's just a little over 5 minutes into the first half, but haven't really had a meaningful string of possession. They look a little shell-shocked at the moment, dealing with some of this pressure. It was Saru kick-started that whole previous sequence just a moment ago. Now Kandua trying to force another turnover, and it'll swing back to Riley. McCann has a little trouble dealing with it, but Riley stands strong, wins it back for the Eagles. Saru finds some good space. And the Eagles looking good. At least I've got a couple of good looks here early on. I think they've come up with a good game plan. Press early on. A fast start is one of the keys to the match for me, for the Eagles, and I think they've done it so far. It's interesting looking at some of the statistics for the Eagles this year. In the first half of games, they've only scored 4 and given up 8. In the second half, they've scored 11 and given up 11. So puts into data point kind of what I felt when watching the squad this year is they just aren't getting out to a great start in the first half, and it's costing them because then they have to play from behind, and to their credit, they'll often fight back and make those games, even the games they've lost, competitive, but not allowing that first goal, keeping it at 0-0 as long as possible, or at least keeping it 0-0, keeping the other team off the board and giving themselves a chance to switch roles there is, I think, what has to be a paramount concern for the Eagles, and so far so good tonight. Kandua deep in the left, trying to put some pressure on the Scots. As seems they're starting to string together some more passes, may feel a little bit more comfortable now that they've sustained the initial pressure. That's the second long ball we've seen from Covenant, and you kind of get the sense they want to play maybe a little more direct than what the Eagles are looking to do. Try to pick out some of their speedsters up top. Clever ball deep into the box, but well, it takes a weird chip, and it's going to be ruled offsides. It was that initial ball that looped into the left side of the box. Get foul. Whistled on the Eagles. From about 30 yards out, but far over, just right outside the penalty area of the Eagles. There's two in the wall. Scots are going to have a nice opportunity here. It's a well-placed ball. The Scots almost got a piece of it, but what really killed him there is the lack of runners inside the box. The Eagles will get whistled for another foul here, so a chance to do a little bit better on the delivery. It's Josh Brower, the assist king of Lookout Point. Lookout Mountain, rather. And now they may have sacrificed progress forward as the Eagles are mounting an attack of their own, and well done. Good individual defending there. Saru is known for being shifty on the ball, and he finds it again, and a good look there. He didn't get a full piece of it, but enough to create a little chaos as he cut in from the right to left and put a shot. It looked to be going on goal, but I must have deflected off Madison Kondua. It'll be LeMay. Goes big out of the back. That's Jake Major. Interestingly, looking more like an outside back than an attacker here for Covenant. Will Jones comfortably back to Max Mellon. Will Jones will get it again. Now they're finding Trey Riley, who slices it out to Nate Sampson. Sampson does well. He was under a lot of pressure from Griffin Felton. Jones will receive it from McCann. Melman's going to take his time. Finding Cole Hendricks out on the left to Tishy. Back to Hendricks. And Kondua kind of muscled his way through it, but ultimately couldn't keep it. Now the Eagles on the move. Matt Engler trying to control it deep in Scott territory, and it'll be recycled. Now Tishy on the move. He was looking to connect with Trey Riley, who carved out a little pocket of space between the midfield and defensive lines. Good job by Kondua. Riley spins out. A lot of poise for freshman on the ball in the middle. Melman's clipping it long, almost finding Kandua, but it will trickle back through to LeMay. Another couple key points looking at this match that I thought it was important for the Eagles to focus on. One's leadership. Moving on after a 5-0 loss to a conference foe is not easy, and I think that's really where leadership component comes into play for some of the older players to show some of that mental strength, guys who have most experience to get things back on track. So far, so good. They don't show any signs that they're coming off a big loss. The other point of emphasis here is it's got to be just wanting it more. Despite the record for the Eagles at 5-4-1, I think this win would certainly be a feather in the cap for Covenant, and it'll be whistled for offsides. It was a well-placed ball by Matt Engler, just picking out June Saru inside the box. Didn't have a big margin for error, but Saru a couple of feet offsides. It'll be LeMay now on the free kick right around the top of the box. And Covenant, as I mentioned, have lost more than they've won against the Eagles, and Emory often near or at the top of the Southern regional rankings for Division III soccer. I think they'd love to get a result here in Atlanta on the road against a traditionally tough opponent. But it's certainly a winnable game for the Eagles. I think 15 minutes in, and have to give the edge to the Eagles so far. More quality chances, and I just think they've looked in better command of the ball when they've had it. So it's certainly a winnable match here for the Eagles. Just have to show that courage. Saru's knifing his way through, and I honestly don't mind it. It was a little bit off. He had an opportunity to find Sampson on the right side, but I like it. Taking opportunities. Saru kind of playing like a false nine. I think he's looked dangerous there. Had a good work rate on offense, and now Sampson's going to find an opportunity. And the referee will wave it off. There was some contact. He got the ball first off of Sampson, and I think the contact came in the follow-through, and not enough to warrant a free kick, but I think Saru's done a good job. He's more traditionally been a midfield piece to the Eagles lineup, but this time he's up leading the line, similar to a David Villa type role when he was playing forward for Spanish national team. Not really pushing super high, able to come back in, check in, win balls. Be a little more creative in there than a traditional number 9. And I would be utilizing Nate Sampson all day. He looks to have had the better of the matchup over here on the right side. Now they're trying to find Jake Major. He's over deep in the corner. It'll be Cole Hendricks defending. Major cuts back, gets the ball across, but quality help there by Patrick McCann. Outside of the free kick, the best looking opportunity there for the Scots, and it was Trey Riley had a nice little run over on the left side, but not enough mustard on the sandwich to get it through from Jones. Tishy will drop it all the way back to Cole Gallagher. Gallagher didn't start against Chicago this previous weekend, but he's back in the starting lineup tonight. There's Max Carlson between the sticks for the Eagles. Will Jones wins the ball. And love to hear the communication increase right there. Sampson had a big pocket behind him. All he needed to do was turn, instead try to play it back. And I would keep getting the ball to him as much as possible, to he and Madison Kondua. I think that the outside areas are going to be the best areas for the Eagles to exploit. Now Kondua will find it. He's going to clip it into Matt Engler. He couldn't hang on to it. But I like the combo play, cutting in and trying to orchestrate it right around the top of the 18. Now Sampson driving in. He's got some pressure on him, and it was well defended by Covenant. If I'm moving the pieces on the chess board, I would keep Sampson out as wide as possible. Good hustle play by Trey Riley. He was under heavy pressure and had an arm on him, and still able to get a shot off. It didn't really trouble Paul LeMay, who's had a pretty easy night thus far. I think easily the best opportunity for the Eagles was that Sampson to Kondua cross that Madison Kondua got ahead to, but not enough good contact on it. It just trickled away a couple feet from goal. Now the Scots going to work over on the right side. Wasn't really troubling cross. The Eagles get a piece of it as it trickles to Gallagher. And so it is interesting kind of how the Scots are structured. It appears Austin Berry's their point man of sorts, with Keegan Weekly behind him is in that attacking midfield role. Now to Kondua. Going to try to get outside of Nate Laughlin unsuccessfully. So far the Eagles' defense, I think, has done a good job, as foul gets called on Austin Berry. The Eagles in a 4-3-3 here. I think doing pretty well. Riley on the ball. Cairns had a bit of a problem with keeping possession over here on the right side. He's put out some fires and had a good work rate. If he can just clean up a little bit on his deliveries, I think really help the Eagles assert themselves throughout the rest of this half. It's back to Melman, and good instinct by Riley, spinning out of pressure and out to Cole Hendricks. Good look by Hendricks to find Saru, who laid it off really nicely, but it's that next pass that's been fuddling the Eagles. Just need couple people to dribble into some of those tight spaces. Not rely on the low percentage through balls, and I think this one's going to be easily handled between Melman and Tishy. Again, the Scots going a little more direct with some over-the-top stuff, but so far it hasn't really troubled the Eagles. Tishy finding Riley. Jones all the way back Melman chipping up Sampson. Finds himself in some good space here. Kondua is going to clear out in that space for him, and that's where it's just got to be a little bit better for the Eagles. They're in. Scots have their backs turned, running towards their own goal, and Eagles just giving off unnecessary turnovers. It's major. Good sense of awareness there by Jake Major. He got through the back line for the Eagles and got his head up, realized he was not alone up there, and tried to get the ball over to his teammate unsuccessfully, but now the Scots looking dominant. Easy shot by Griffin Felton, handled by Cole Gallagher. So it looks like Jake Major kind of looked like an outside back early on, is really more into a outside right forward role. Looks like we've got one change of brewing for the Eagles. Kind of interested to see where this will go. And some good combo play. Saru's going to try to cut back against the grain. This is where he can take a little time. Nice ball to find Kondua. Just need a little more depth there. You can see how you've got Sampson, Saru, Kondua. They're all within 10 yards of the box. I think they just need a little more width there to open things up. They all, once the ball gets into right about this zone, they all just kind of condense there within the width of the D, and I think that's one of the issues here for the Eagles, as it's easy to mark them all out, not making it easy on themselves. They push forward and try to connect, with Covenant dropping a lot of players behind the ball. Wouldn't call it an all-out bunker, and I think there are opportunities for the Eagles to get in there. But they've got to value the ball a little bit more once they get across half. Scott's getting a little possession of their own, and kind of a difficult ball there for the Scots, but they do retain it. They charge forward on the left, and a little miscommunication between Josh Brower and Griffin Felton, as Brower checked back and ball was beyond his reach.
Emory,
and that will
Zach Hornblum, and number 10, Alejandro Gomez.
Be the last bits of the first half for Madison Kondua. I think Matt Engler coming off as well, so.
And substitutions for Covenant, number 10, Anthony Bazillo.
It's the Caracas connector, Alejandro Gomez, coming on for Matt Engler. McCann puts it in to Nate Sampson, who's did a good job there holding off his defender. It'll be earn a free kick out of it. Eagles might want to take a moment here and see if they can get it in the box. There's 17 minutes left. It would be a great opportunity for them to punch one home, as it's been kind of now evolved into a back and forth affair. Neither team really dominating. Gomez showing some shiftiness in the middle. Riley, excellent job to find Sampson. It was a sloppy touch, and he couldn't hold on to it. Easily finding Riley out to Melman. Back to Tishy. Kind of swapped with Melman over towards the right side now. Saru cuts back in. Good work to find Gomez. And they'll retreat a bit and recalculate their options. And it looks like it was Zach Kornblum coming in for Madison Conduo over on the left side. Trey Riley now find Tishy, who's going to push up, pick Sampson out. That's where I think they got to have an outside option and get it to him. There's any of that combo play right on top of the box is going to be defended pretty easily when you've got 3-4 guys behind the ball there. And the credit to Covenant for being pretty disciplined with their defensive structure. They haven't been an all-bunker team. They've looked to get out. Their middle three are pushing pretty high. So I think there's opportunities here for the Eagles. Noah Lee's done a, was that Noah Lee or Jesse Riggs? Excuse me. Done a decent job covering distance for the Scots. Scots are going to chuck it forward, and I don't think they'll have the specificity to make it useful. Kornblum contesting, but it'll be back to LeMay, who spins it up. You can see the teams are just kind of going. They're both having their moments. Scott's now able to put together some passes, and I think it go back to one of the keys of the match for me is just wanting it more, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. It's certainly a winnable game here. Eagles just need that extra bit. Whether it's defensive pressure, creating some turnovers, or keeping that pressure that I thought really looked good early on and discombobulated the Scots in the first 15 to 20 minutes of the match. Just under 13 now left. Nice ball over the top, and it's going to be Major. And I think you just saw why Jake Major is leading the USA South in goals. He speedy character coming in from the right side, as you just saw that clipped ball over the top. He's able to get behind the back line. Didn't put it on frame, though, ultimately troubling Cole Gallagher, but certainly had his best opportunity of the day. McCann will drop it to Trey Riley. Out to Kornblum, nicely settled. Hendricks now whipping it across, and it's just kind of skipped past Gomez. Now another ball over the top. Hendricks does better this time, but it's Major cutting in. He's got to look, and it was a tough tackle between the two. A lot of, I think, knees going against each other. Looked like a good one, and it wasn't whistled for a foul. I think it was Max Melman on the challenge. It's like the knock certainly impacted Major. He's slower to get up. Will Jones into some space. He's going to dish it out to McCann. It wasn't tight enough to keep that momentum rolling.
Substitution for
Another couple
Covenant,
changes
number
for the
7,
Eagles.
McGimsey. Substitutions for Emory.
Nate Sampson will
9,
take a
Corey
rest.
Levine. Number 18, Joe Bear.
It'll be the Londoner, Joe Bear, on for the Eagles. Along with Corey Levine for June Saru. Good read by Melman. He's got plenty of options. Levine spins out, can't hold on to it, and he did get some contact, but it's those areas that Eagles just have to do better holding on to the ball. They don't always have to go forward there. It's just keeping it out of the hands of the Scots. Do a great job winning it back. It's just once they have it, they're, I think, giving it away too cheaply. Failed clearance there, and we'll find Gomez. Works it with McCann, and McCann just shields it away for the throw-in. Over to Melman. Jones checking in. He'll receive it. On to Tishy. Finding Riley in some tight quarters and can't hold on to it. It's coughed up there. Well, it'll be whistled for a foul. It's soft from my vantage point. Nonetheless, it'll be the Scots kick coming out from about 23 yards. Hendricks challenging, couldn't get to it, but Tishy's there to clean up. Kornblum contesting. A lot of speed over on the right side for Covenant. A combination of Nathan Laughlin and Jake Major over on the rights led to the most challenging offensive salvos. Melman just clipping it in. Almost found Kornblum. He was in a good spot to receive it, but kind of looked like it bypassed both players, but referee saying it went off the head of the Scot, and it'll be the Eagles. corner kick here with the Caracas connector. Over on the left, high lofted ball. LeMay comes out and deals with it well. LeMay, 6'3", senior, had no trouble pulling that ball down out of the air. Scott's now cutting in off the right. Jones cuts it out, trying to find Kornblum, but
number 18,
not sharp enough. Josh Brower off for the Scots. It's going to be replaced by Anthony Calbo. Can deals with the aerial ball well. Trey Riley in pursuit now. Good read by Joe Bear, using his body well. Keeps it in, tightrope walking over on the right. McCann gets a little fumbled up, but nice job to dish it to Tishy. Tishy still driving at the heart of the Scots. Looks out for Kornblum, who will recalculate and move it to the other side, but this is much better for the Eagles, just holding on to it. Now this is where I think things start to open up a little bit. Jones looked like he could have turned there. Now the Eagles finding some good space here. Kornblum cutting in, and it wasn't enough. The attempt to combine across to the top of the box. Eagles again now after winning it back. Tishy into Melman. Good ball into Levine, who doesn't hold on to it well. Good work by Riley. He really created that turnover and then shepherded it once the ball had been away. Good work by Joe Bear here, and smart little turn by Gomez. Still working on it. It's right there. The Eagles have lost a lot of balls. McCann now. Looks like Corey Levine was setting up to take the throw, but Gomez into Jones. Yeah, I think the best space for the Eagles is going to continue to be on the outside. The midfield trio in the center are doing a good job for the Scots of just collapsing into that pocket and giving them a numerical advantage as the Eagles try to create some combinations on top of the D, and it's just not working out for them. And something's got to give if they want to put one in the back of the net, and the precision's just not there right now. Alternatively, the best attacks have come from the right side, right to left, with crosses on the end. Kornblum trying to make something happen. It will be cleared momentarily for Riggs. McCann cuts in. I wouldn't mind also seeing some more direct balls over, just kind of chopped in delicately laid behind the back line, allowing some of those runners on the back post to just fly in and try to get on the end of it. It's just a little too predictable. And Scott's doing a good job of pressuring. Now the Eagles have a good opportunity, and it wasn't a good cross, though. It was too far out. Jones putting his foot on the ball. He's going to try and drop it in, but never really had a chance. 1 going into 2.
1 minute. 1 minute left in the
1
first
minute
half.
left in this first half. Really kind of unremarkable first half from both sides. And now the ball's gone through, and this could be real trouble. Gallagher did excellent job coming out and negating that through ball. Again, it's been the through balls that have caused the most problems for the Eagles. 2 legitimate scoring opportunities for the Scots. Neither one they've been able to capitalize upon. The Eagles able to dodge a couple bullets, and as I mentioned earlier, nice little work here. Levine's going to have a look. It was a good thought by Kornblum. Everybody had kind of sunk over to the left side, and he just did a little chop shot towards the back of the right post unsuccessfully, but it's so far so good. I think given what I had talked about as far as the fast start for the Eagles, they haven't conceded anything. They're holding the lead in terms of shots at 5-2, and they've had a couple of good looks. So if history's anything to look at in the first half of what they've been able to do throughout the first half of games earlier this year, just keeping the opponent out of the back of the net could be a strong indicator that there may be in for a good result in the second half. But we'll take a break now and be back in about 15 minutes with the second half lineups as the Eagles look to put one in the back of the net and try to get a win against a hot Covenant College men's soccer team. We'll be back soon.
If you like to do this, or that, or even that, and you want to get back at it, we've got your back. Or your shoulder, or your hip, or your knee. The sports medicine specialists at Emory Healthcare treat more world-class, professional, and college-level athletes than anyone else in the state. We'll treat you like a pro and get you back in play.
What makes D3 special is the ability to participate in my team and within the broader community.
The perfect ending to a perfect season.
Being a D3 student athlete has completely expanded my life.
I learned how to lead. I really found a voice.
What time is it?
It's more about the experience rather than just a sport itself.
Without the experience of being a Division III student athlete, I wouldn't be the person who I am today.
NCAA Division III. Discover, develop, dedicate.
When you're in college, you kind of find out who you are. And throughout your 4 years, you develop yourself with all the different experiences, which leads into dedicating yourself to your community, to your family. So when you're a senior, you're coming out a well-rounded person.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests outside of the classroom and outside of the court or field. I've had the ability to get into different activities and organizations, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
Getting to be involved in a lot of different things, ranging from obviously being a student athlete to getting involved with my campus and my community, and not only being allowed to do that, but being encouraged to do that.
The opportunity to be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, to have the professors know me on a personal level, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference. It really helps you develop thinking from other people's perspectives and looking at problems from outside the box.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
I've definitely learned how to really be myself. I found out, yes, I am actually a good leader, and yes, I can actually put myself forward because I am good enough. I can do it.
Coming in to college, I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of different career goals, and I've learned so much about myself that I was always like growing and changing.
When I got to college, it forced me to step up and become more of a leader. And I think that was something I had the capability of doing. And forever grateful that being at a Division III school gave me that opportunity.
You have to dedicate your time in the classroom, you have to dedicate your time in the gym, on the field, on the court.
Our coaches and the entirety of the athletic department, they valued the student athlete going out to community and trying something new and getting involved in campus life.
You can get involved in so many different things. So the possibilities are truly limitless for what you can do with your college experience. You can kind of make it your own in the Division III setting. So I would encourage people who want to have flexibility to pursue different interests and passions to go D3.
When you're in college, you kind of find out who you are. And throughout your 4 years, you develop yourself with all the different experiences, which leads into dedicating yourself to your community, to your family. So when you're a senior, you're coming out a well-rounded person.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests outside of the classroom and outside of the court or field. I've had the ability to get into different activities and organizations, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
Getting to be involved in a lot of different things, ranging from obviously being a student athlete to getting involved with my campus and my community, and not only being allowed to do that, but being encouraged to do that.
The opportunity to be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, to have the professors know me on a personal level, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference. It really helps you develop thinking from other people's perspectives and looking at problems from outside the box.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
I've definitely learned how to really be myself. I found out, yes, I am actually a good leader, and yes, I can actually put myself forward because I am good enough. I can do it.
Coming in to college, I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of different career goals, and I've learned so much about myself that I was always like growing and changing.
When I got to college, it forced me to step up and become more of a leader, and I think that was something I had the capability of doing, and forever grateful that being at a Division III school gave me that opportunity.
You have to dedicate your time in the classroom, you have to dedicate your time in the gym, on the field, on the court.
Our coaches and the entirety of the athletic department, they valued the student athlete going out into community and trying something new and getting involved in campus life.
You can get involved in so many different things. So the possibilities are truly limitless for what you can do with your college experience. You can kind of make it your own in the Division III setting. So I would encourage people who want to have flexibility to pursue different interests and passions to go D3.
Welcome back, fans. We're almost set to begin the second half of action here at the Woodruff Physical Education Center. It's your Emory Eagles taking on the Covenant College Scots, excuse me. Two teams deadlocked at 0-0. Both teams had good looks in the first half. I think have to give the edge to Covenant in the dangerous goal scoring opportunity category with two clear breakaways they were unable to convert. I think the Eagles' best opportunity coming from Madison Kondua after a Nate Sampson pass into the box, and looks like the Eagles have mostly be using their starters from the first half. Tishy plays into heavy traffic. Will Jones now on the ball, dropping it to Cole. Mulleted Maestro Hendricks, who I think has kept the from this vantage point, kept the mullet. You got to give him a lot of respect for. Tishy on the ball, looking to find Saru's back into that false 9 position. Now Kondua with a nice run inside. And I'd love to see that more often out of these outside attackers for the Eagles, and I think that's a perfect example of how the Eagles can break down Covenant tonight. Is get the ball to Kondua and Sampson in those isolation scenarios. Tough tackle. Good defensive work by the Eagles to keep it, and they'll keep possession in a sloppy challenge by the Scots. Bit of a misfire from Cole Hendricks. It'll be Covenant ball. Major thought about it. He'll defer to Nate Laughlin. It was that duo over on the right side that caused the most problems for the Eagles. Really the pace, I think, is what kept them on their toes and led to those goal scoring opportunities for the Scots. In the midfield, center of the park for the Eagles, Matt Engler, Trey Riley, and Will Jones. Engler in a more elevated position, a little higher up, kind of running up there near Saru, who's deep in the corner trying to dig it out. Gets a piece of it, but it'll be out for a goal kick. Here's Patrick McCann again on for the Eagles defense with Max Melman, Will Tishy, Cole Hendricks across the back line. And that one was cut out by McCann. Now Sampson will have a good look here. Fights his way through it. He's still on it, getting tugged at, but really strong work by him, and he gets the cross off, but it never troubled LeMay. Strong work ethic by Sampson deep in the right corner, and I think it's essential that he gets as many opportunities as possible. The goal-scoring leader for Emory on the year, he's got 8. Love to notch his 9th in this 0-0 affair. I think funneling through your two best, at least on paper, attackers, and for me, probably the best two attackers with the eye test or on paper, Madison Kondua and Nate Sampson. Got to get the ball at their feet as much as possible and let them go to work. They've shown they can score and generate offense. Just don't think they're getting the ball enough in the right spaces. Scott's under some pressure here, and they'll just fling it out for a throw-in for the Eagles. Jay Patterson getting the brunt of that tackle. He's back on his feet. They'll try to find Engler. Falls all the way to Melman. Nice hard chop. Tishy now figuring out a plan. He'll swing it back to Melman. Sampson, nice bit of play, and it's there that's been the most troubling. Once they get inside about 40 yards, ball seems to evaporate for the Eagles. Melman and Chase deep on the left side. Excellent tackle. Put his heel into it and cut it back. Looked like he like a pilot in Top Gun and just hit the brakes. The Eagles still haven't been able to retain possession here as Covenant tries a shot. It's successfully deflected by Tishy. Eagles will draw the foul. About 10 yards away from goal. Maybe more like 12 or 15, but Cole Gallagher on the ball for the Eagles. Kind of get the sense if the Eagles can get one in, I think more will come. But they haven't been able to crack the egg so far. I think so far for me, the man of the match has to be Trey Riley. You've gotten solid performances from Max Melman and Tishy and Gallagher in the back. I think they're the kind of known products, and they've put in a solid shift, but both of them. But it's been the work rate for me from Riley that has him as my player of the match so far. Looked good on both sides of the ball. Real two-way midfielder. Good stuff here by Saru. Catches it in traffic and able to hold on to it. And I think that's what they want from him, just to get in some of those tight spaces, hold that up, and then try to connect. If he can get on a couple of those on maybe the half turn, so he's not just running straight back to his goal, he can really do some damage connecting with Sampson and Kondua. They're going to try it again. It was Tishy to Saru, but like Saru got a little slip, unable to complete the run and hold on to it. And it's a lot of back and forth. Covenant now pressing hard, cutting in, and excellent block by Max Melman. Now Covenant with either their first or second corner kick of the match. Starting to creep up in the overall shot count. This could be dangerous. Riley gets his head on it. Then Engler does the same to keep it out of danger, and that ball will be rifled toward the Stars as Gallagher grabs it and gets set for the goal kick. Be uncontested, just back in. Eagles just have to dig down deep. That's a good example right there. Just a completely uncontested ball with people in the area. We're not getting in, at least challenging it. Just have to dig a little deeper here if they want to get out with a win and erase some of the bad taste in their mouth after that 5-0 drubbing at Chicago. Jones under a lot of pressure. I think he did enough there to get it to Hendricks. Gallagher will sling it over to the left. He was probably looking for Kondua, but Saru will be whistled for the foul. Jay Patterson on the service. Loft it towards the back side of the goal. It's just some poor decision making. Ooh, and it took a kind of a wicked deflection off the Eagles there. I don't think the initial attempt would have been much trouble for Cole Gallagher, but looked to go off a shoulder blade or something, causing a change in trajectory. Ultimately landed on the back of the net. Well, that's a good attempt by the Scots. Now Kondua has some space to stretch his legs, but well tracked by the Scots. Good job finding Riley. But so far, the midfield pairing of Keegan Weekly and Jesse Riggs has been pretty impressive in their defensive output. Done a really solid job mitigating a lot of the attacks from the Eagles, especially when they cut from outside to in. They're seemingly always there, putting a foot in, causing a deflection, doing something to disrupt the Eagles' attack. Scott's trying to get some help. They're in a difficult position in the corner. Austin Berry, who's had a couple flurries of individual work, leading to a couple of shots in the second half. Now Covenant holding the 7-5 advantage for shots. It was the Eagles who outshot them in the first half. Eagles not following up that good 15 to 20 minute initial spell that they had in the first half, where I thought they looked to be pretty dominant over Covenant. Covenant wasn't able to create much of anything. Good ball here by Engler to find Saru. Multiple players in. They're still outnumbered. More folks have to get into the box for the Eagles. And it's going to cut back across. And I think they've just got to commit more numbers there. Create some mismatches. You can kind of see how well Covenant is at getting behind the ball once they've lost it. There was about 4 runners there for Emory, covered by at least 5 players. Good read here by Matt Engler. Nice look to find Saru. He's going to get a good look, but just a little wide, and I think that'll go out. It thought for a second referee was holding the corner kick side, but the best work in the second half there for the Eagles.
Aaron Riggs.
And it all was going through June Saru. I think Engler's got to stay up a little bit higher. I get the sense he's, well, what we've seen from positionally from him throughout his career thus far, he looks a little more like a box-to-box guy, more possession-oriented player, but I think he's going to have to fill in some of that more attack-minded, creative combination, take some chances. The read right there that led to the turnover and Saru opportunity, perfect work by him, just staying high, being dangerous. He's going to have a chance to run after it here, and is cut out by Patterson. Thrown into tight space. Sampson on the ball. Pokes his way through, and well defended by Covenant. Clipping a long ball over. It was too much. You can see they're trying to find Major on those deep balls. Kondua has done a good job trying to connect with his teammates. It's just continues to kind of break down. Eagles well defended there. This is where I think we got to get more numbers forward for the Eagles. Love to see Cole Hendricks pushing up here, the outside backs getting involved, and there he goes. And I think this is where they can really do damage here. You had Kondua there over on the left side and with acres of space. I think that's the formula, is overload a little bit on the sides and get the speedsters for the Eagles behind enemy lines. Good work by Riley. Troubling cross there. Gallagher eventually got his mitts on it and secured it. He'll just drop it down to Tishy. He's going to find Max Melman. This is a good type of ball that didn't execute it well, but in between those lines of Covenant's defense and their midfield players, I think is where you've got to look for Matt Engler and Trey Riley. Get it turned and start running at the back line so you can free up some space, create those mismatches for Saru, Kondua, Nate Sampson, who looks like Sampson is going to stay on, but a couple of new fresh players off the bench for the Eagles. It's Zach Kornblum over on the left side. Owen Hallauer on for William Jones.
Substitution for Emory, number 10.
And I believe it's
Alejandro
Matthew
Gomez.
Tanzer now on the left side, wearing a different jersey than what's listed in the match program. But it appears that would be him over on the left side now, replacing Cole Hendricks. Alejandro Gomez on for Matt Engler.
Substitution for Emory.
And another substitution will be
Cohen.
June Saru taking a break with Ethan Cohen getting his first minutes of the match. Ball dropped back to LeMay, who gets a piece of it. Covenant heads it on. A quick throw to Tishy. We'll see what Tanzer can do over on the left side. I was harping on a moment ago. I think the opportunities here are in the flanks for the Eagles. Tanzer's been a good up and down threat for the Eagles in that outside back position. Foul to be Riggs going in with the quick play. You can see there kind of a downhill type of team. They like putting pressure on the back line of their opponents. Major over on the right gets really high, right up on the shoulder of his opponent's outside back, just kind of waiting to catch him and make a connection with Riggs on that long ball. High looping ball in. It shouldn't be a problem for Gallagher. Calmly snags it. So new crop on for the Eagles. Gallagher puts it into tight area, but Riley gets a piece of it. It'll move it forward back to Covenant. Cohen showing good pressure. Now the Eagles throwing multiple men forward, but Covenant so far able to play out of it. Howlauer was there, and it'll be Tanzer on the throw. Kornblum gets it again. Try and fight his way through. It's Patterson with a cheeky Cruyff. He'll fling it across, and excellent ball, excellent all-around work there by Patterson. Now Covenant going to work on the left side, but it'll be out for a corner kick.
Substitutions for Covenant. Number
21
3,
minutes
Robert
left.
Pettit. And number 23,
And some
Parker
change.
Owen.
And Covenant's going to make a couple of substitutions here. It looks like Riggs will be off, along with Piers, Griffin Felton. Maybe that's Austin Berry, who's going to take a break. Most likely just brief respite before the final minutes of the match. And the service is too far. Never troubled the Eagles defenders. And now Covenant deep. "21 minutes for the Eagles to push one in the back of the net." Matthew Tanzer on the ball. Throwing it up to Sampson, who's over on the left side now. Also Josh Berman on for the Eagles. Looks to have taken over for Max Melman. And a foul. This is going to be a good look for the Eagles. It was well worked there in the corner. Nice little turn, gotten the better of the Scots. So now Tishy will see if he can orchestrate set piece goal here for the Eagles. Josh Berman up, Ethan Cohen as well, a big target. Ooh, and it falls in. It's still in the box, still causing the Scots trouble. Will be out for another corner. It was, I believe, Zach Kornblum who got the shot off. So far, this could be best-looking opportunity for the Eagles in the second half. Ball floated in. It's a good ball. Contested by both sides. Tishy got a touch. This could be problematic. Major's just flying forward. Tishy there to cover. Swings it across, and a miscommunication between those two. Gallagher called it, but wasn't really in a position to grab it. It didn't ultimately do any damage. However, some recipient of some contact, but no foul. Now he's going to get it again. Still under pressure. Covenant showing some physicality, and referees let it go tonight on a couple of maybe 50-50 type calls. Major with a nice turn. He's going to go in, and good work by Gallagher. Stand tall. But Major seems to be growing with confidence as the game rolls on. Patterson, just a smart nod back to LeMay. And Patterson's been their real defensive star tonight. Done the dirty work, but also looked composed on the ball when tasked. Now the Eagles have a good opportunity down on the right side. Well worked. Sampson finds Kornblum. He's going to chop it back in. Sampson's going to have a look. Fires, and what a strike to the back post. Breaks the deadlock, and the Eagles are up 1-0. And it's exactly from who you'd expect.
With 17,
the goal leader on the year, nasty Nate Sampson. Let's take a look at it once more.
The Emory goal.
It was the combo play over on the right side that did them in,
Sampson,
along with a fantastic finish from Sampson.
Emory 1, Covenant nothing.
So Sampson plays it off the cross, not much to it, but that's the benefit of taking those opportunities, and just an excellent shot there by Nate Sampson. You could really feel how important that goal was to the squad. Everybody, on the bench up off of it, running down to the sideline to cheer on nasty Nate Sampson as he logs his 5th goal of the year. 10 points on the 2019 campaign for Nate Sampson. Now the Eagles looking emboldened and could really close the door if they can get one more goal here. There's plenty of time for Covenant to get back in the match, and we'll see what, if any, changes unfold over the next 16 in terms of personnel. Nice ball. Almost over there, at least at the beginning. It looked troubling. Josh Brower pulled up out of it, didn't think he could get to it. Gallagher smartly using all of the time possible. Eagles now with a tough task, but a manageable one. They've just can't get careless moving the ball around the back. And not a bad idea from Josh Berman, being a little more direct. Cohen to Gomez. Smart ball outside. Now Tanzer's got a good look, and this is where I think they can really do damage. Getting into these wider areas, you can see Covenant's done a good job of getting behind the ball, but it's if they can find out of that space and break those lines, that's where they're going to have the most success. Now Gomez in a nice little pocket. He's going to have a rip. Didn't get all of it. Was looking for that cutter back to the near post. Never troubled LeMay.
Substitution for Covenant, number 8, Jesse Riggs.
It's number 8, Jesse Riggs, back on for Covenant to close this one out. I think you got to put him under as much pressure as possible when he's got the ball and looking to go to the driving range out to Jake Major. That's, for me, been their most dangerous looking attempt. Nice work over here for the Eagles on the right. Cut out by Covenant, but quality work, and it's going to be Brower who's whistled off sides, and any way you slice it, he missed another one-on-one opportunity, and that's really been the when Covenant looks back tonight, they've had opportunities to put one in the back of the net, just haven't been able to do it. Even if you include that one, that's at least 2 misses from breakaway scenarios, and you've got to get at least one of those in. Kornblum over on the right, he's looked very lively. It was him and Nate Sampson combining that led to that goal. Keep looking to get in and out to those channels away from the power base of Covenant, which for me is right in the middle of the field. You can see, you can't really see it in the screen, but right below it, now you're kind of getting into it. It's Jake Major and Matthew Tanzer just going to be the biggest matchup to keep your eye on for the last 13 minutes of this game. Major's been their danger man all year with what a rip, Gallagher, and I have to say it appears I've mislabeled Major and confused him a little bit with Mercer Stout tonight, at least in terms of the offensive production associated with him. Ball trickles away. Gallagher's going to have a easy run on it.
Substitutions for Emory, number 19, Matt Engler. Number 21, Jasper Pearson.
Riggs now looking to find Major. And well tracked by Tanzer. Just doing enough there to offset Major and create some separation, allowing Gallagher to come out and grab it. Doesn't look like Mercer Stout has even made his way onto the pitch tonight, so must be an injury. They'll certainly look back and wish he was on.
Substitution for Emory, number 18, Joe Bear.
So Joe Bear coming on for right now the game-winning goal scorer, Nate Sampson. Ethan Cohen. Ooh, dangerous looking back pass. The Eagles cleaned up well, and they've done excellent to keep it in. They just need to give themselves some breathing room. Riggs there to make a play on it. He's been quality for Covenant tonight. Tishy, smart ball to find Cohen. He's got a little bit of time. Excellent work, finds Howlauer. Eagles unable to keep the momentum going. Still no damage to the score sheet on their side as Eagles knock it out. It'll be a throw in for Covenant now. Back in. Covenant looking like they really want this, and loss would certainly not be in their plans. Has gotten out such a big start early in the year. Patterson all the way up, getting pulled out of position as he tries to get in and make something happen. And decent shot by Keegan Weekly. Never very threatening to Cole Gallagher. So he just kind of walks it out and milks some of the time off the clock. Eagles don't need to be overly greedy here, trying to pick it off, but applying some pressure, not a bad idea. And if he would have just let that go, Cohen was running and probably would have been the perfect ball, but Gomez didn't get the memo. Ethan Cohen was behind him. Tishy Covenant attacking with a lot of numbers. Engler clears it and it skips past Patterson. Eagles don't need to overly commit here. Cohen was showing pressure, but they can just hang out, be compact, and as soon as it crosses over half, that's when they really want to apply pressure. I think they might set themselves up for a counterattacking goal. They'll have to defend this one. It's looked threatening, but an errant touch. Provide a little bit of safety for the Eagles. And it's just unnecessary by Matt Tanzer there. Ball was already going out and just put an arm into the Scott. And now they're going to have to defend a dangerous set piece from the right side. It'll be Jesse Riggs supplying the service. Decent ball in. It's cleared by Tishy, who's been all over it on the aerial front for the last couple minutes. seeing an experienced player, knows that the win is within reach here and doing everything he can to help keep that shutout for the Eagles. Difficult ball by Joe Bear, but the Eagles are still on it here. Now Joe Bear will find it again. He's going to have a crack. LeMay able to sniff it out and holds on to it. He's going to go direct right off the kick. An excellent duel by Josh Berman. Now Eagles have some good looks over here. It's Kornblum deep on the right side. Don't want to get overextended here. Cheeky play by Kornblum. He's just going to hold it deep in the corner and try to work out a corner, but Covenant able to win. It goes with the nutmeg, pushing up. Going direct on every attempt forward now. Berman wins the header. Engler under significant pressure, but he able to win it. He's got a nice looping ball over the top. Kornblum's going to have a good look here. Slings it across. Got it on the second attempt. He had 2 cracks at it, but just couldn't get a solid piece of it. Good work by Matt Engler to find Kornblum, and he's done well here to win the free kick and knock off a few more licks of the clock. So you can see Engler, nice little chip ball, just perfectly weighted. Kornblum could have taken a touch a little bit earlier, but a nice ball in, and is kind of behind Cohen, so he couldn't really get all the power onto it like he wanted. Berman with a karate kick. I think it's going to get whistled for either a dangerous play or some sort of contact. It's Riggs again on the set piece as all the Scots are moving into Emory's penalty area. Probably the biggest threat to keep an eye on would be Jay Patterson, the center back, coming all the way forward. Riggs goes short. Didn't work as intended, and they're going to pay for it. It's Joe Bear in chase. The Scots get a fortunate touch, and they'll launch it forward. End-to-end stuff here to close this game out with 2:33 left on the clock. Joe Bear tried to notch it back to Matt Engler. Couldn't do it, and now it'll be Cole Gallagher on the ball, and I think the Scots have wised up a little bit to letting Gallagher put the ball down. Keegan Weekly supplying some token pressure there. Gallagher's kick makes it almost to midfield. Again, Eagles under significant pressure here from Covenant. Just every ball Covenant getting, just slinging it forward. Eagles, if they can get the ball on their feet and keep it, notch a couple of passes, or at least get it deep into Covenant territories, those type of balls that I think are kind of killing them at the moment. This is better stuff. Gomez combining. He's got options. They don't need to score again, but obviously need to keep Covenant off the board. All of this is fine. The contested ball is in the middle, down to 1 minute and 20 seconds. They're just limiting the opportunities here for Covenant. And picked off well by Patterson. Great individual stick by Kornblum, who finds Joe Bear. Joe Bear's going to try to do it all himself, fighting. And they're going to almost called a foul there, but they're going to allow the advantage to play out. 46 seconds left. Big header win by Berman, who follows it up with another. It'll be Covenant ball with 36 seconds on the clock now. Going across court to Weekly. Ball tried to push it in, but it was cut out by Tishy. Floating it again out back, but now the Eagles will have it. Patterson's been a beast for Covenant tonight, I imagine. He's a big figure for Covenant College, and it looks like they will go down to 10-2-1 as they pick up a loss here in Atlanta, and it's a great opportunity for the Eagles to kind of turn things around midseason. They'd had such a great run with 4 back-to-back results before that loss to the University of Chicago, but they've gotten on the right track here tonight with a 1-0 win over the Covenant College Scots. It was Nate Sampson with a fantastic finish off the assist from Zach Kornblum. It'll take the Eagles to 6-4-1 on the year. Next up,
in the University Athletic Association with a big
Emory will face the Washington University.
Match time is 1:30 p.m.
Bears
here
coming
on
up.
The pitch at the Woodruff PE Center.
Wash U falls into the winners category from the first weekend of UAA action. Their win against Rochester puts them into the top 4. Right now, the UAA leaderboard sits with Wash U, Chicago, Brandeis, and NYU at the top, all with 1-0 records in conference play. The losers on the past weekend, Rochester, Emory, Case Western Reserve, and Carnegie Mellon, will be back in action this weekend. Overall, Wash U coming in with a 6-2-1 record here into Atlanta. Could be a really good opportunity for the Eagles to try and pull even and go 500 in UAA play, but they will take a moment to celebrate this win before retooling for the weekend match. So a good win here for the Eagles as they look to double up this week. And that'll be it for tonight's match. Eagles 1, Covenant College Scots 0. Thank you. It's been a pleasure being your host. I'm Patrick Carver, and we will see you soon. Have a good night.